Boxing fans across the world, welcome to Inside the Square Circle Boxing Podcast, guys. Oh my God. It is time, guys. It is time. The time for the biggest fight in the sport of boxing has arrived. Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Bud Crawford. It gets no bigger than this fight right here in the sport of boxing. This is the upper echelon. This is top tier. This is two first ballot Hall of Famers. These are two of the pound for pound greats. Two of the best fighters in the sport are linking up, locking in, and getting ready to rumble tomorrow, Saturday, September 13th, the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada, guys. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. And let's give a lot of shout out and praise to Turkey Al-Sheikh for giving us this fight, because years ago we would have never thought we would have been able to make a fight of this magnitude come to fruition. And Turkey Al-Sheikh is the guy that has stepped into the boxing game, and he is bringing all of the big fights right to us, guys. So salute to Turkey Al-Sheikh. Has also taken over the Ring magazine, and he's given us the biggest fights in the sport of boxing. And this is the biggest fight in the sport, no doubt, hands down. So what we're gonna do during this video, we're gonna go through a full breakdown of the fight. We're gonna go through a prediction. We're gonna paint through scenarios. We're gonna talk about this fight in 100% complete depth, from start to finish. What could happen, what might happen, what this guy brings, what strengths and weaknesses this guy brings. We're gonna talk about it all, guys, for sure. So these two fighters match up at 168 pounds at the super middleweight division, which is a spot that Canelo has reigned supreme in, knocking everybody down off of the totem pole. And he is the king of 168, being Saul Canelo Alvarez, the world champion there, the undisputed world champion at super middleweight. Terence Bud Crawford is coming up 2 weight classes, with his last fight being at 154 pounds at super welterweight, junior middleweight, up to 168 pounds to challenge the king of super middleweight, Saul Canelo Alvarez. Saul Canelo Alvarez record comes in at a staggering 63 wins, 2 losses, 2 draws, with 39 wins coming by way of knockout. Terence Bud Crawford, stepping up to the plate to go against the big dog, has a record at 41 wins, no losses, no draws, and 31 wins coming by the way of knockout, guys. Once again, 2 of the sport's most elite fighters are getting in the ring tomorrow night. We just had the weigh-in today. Friday, y'all know it's weigh-in day, baby. It's weigh-in day. And both of these guys got on the scale looking cut, shredded, lean, and ready to go. Although, to me, Canelo looked a little drained to me. He looked a little dried out to make 168. While from the pictures I seen, Bud looks comfortable. He looked like his weight cut was very, very, very comfortable. So we'll talk about later if that might play a part in this fight. So speaking on these two guys' resumes, right? When you look at Saul Canelo's resume, I mean, who hasn't he fought, guys? Who hasn't Saul Canelo fought? Just beating a young lion in Edgar Berlanga. William Skoll putting us to sleep in a dance fest. All the way down to fighting Jamel Charlo, might I add. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Smith, Miguel Cotto, Lara, and the king, the TBE, Floyd Money Mayweather. Who hasn't Canelo been in the ring with? Canelo has touched greatness, has shown greatness, and has fought greatness. Even in his 2 losses, one to the best ever, Floyd Mayweather Jr., and his other loss when he stepped up in weight to challenge Dimitri Bivol at 175 pounds and he came up short. Once again, testing and daring to be great against the greatest fighters there are out there. Saul Canelo Alvarez has got to have one of the most extensive records in the sport. Just when you go through the names, he fought everybody. Caleb Plant, Sergey Kovalev. I mean, you name it, he fought him. And more often than not, he beat him. Resume is superb. So now we shift gears into Terence Bud Crawford's resume. Bud also very, very, very good record. Has gotten in there with a lot of great fighters, a lot of good fighters. Has won undisputed in 2 different weight classes, guys. At 140, super lightweight, and at 147 at welterweight. And now he's challenging himself against Saul Canelo Alvarez to be the first ever man boxer on the planet to be undisputed in 3 weight classes. Bud fought Errol Spence. That was another very big fight in the sport of boxing. If you're not just a casual fan, you're a real boxing fan, you know that that fight was built up for years. We were clamming and waiting for that fight. And when it happened, the outcome, nobody thought the fight was going to go the way that it went. Bud dominated Spence. Dominated Spence. Like, made Spence look like he was classes and classes under Terence Bud Crawford. Bud also beat Sean Porter at welterweight as well, who has always been a dog at that weight class, has always been one of the top guys at welterweight, and has always been a tough out for anybody with his constant pressure and throwing punches and bunches, guys. Kell Brook, another great fighter who had the pleasure of beating Sean Porter early in his career to become champion. He beats and stops Kell Brook. Amir Khan, Jose Benavidez, Jeff Horn after Jeff Horn had just beat Manny Pacquiao. Victor Postol, a guy that a lot of people try not to give his recognition. Victor Postol, at the time that Bud fought him, was definitely known as one of the best 140-pound fighters in that division. So that definitely cannot be overlooked by any way, shape, or form. All the way down to Gamboa, Yurokis Gamboa, which that was the fight that Terence Bud Crawford was ultimately tested in, and he reigned supreme and superb, stopping Gamboa. All the way down to Ricky Burns, another fighter a lot of you guys may not know, but Ricky Burns was that guy at that time, and I do believe Bud took that fight as a replacement and went in there and got the job done. So these guys' resumes are very good. You got Saul Canelo Alvarez's resume that's more extensive. He's fought more top guys. Then you got Bud, who's fought some top guys but hasn't had the opportunity to really get in there with all of the guys like Saul Canelo Alvarez has. But nonetheless, these are still the 2 best fighters in the sport. And after tomorrow night, Saturday night, one of them will remain at the top of the hill. One of them has to fall. One of them has to lose. Who do you think that's going to be? Comment down below, let me know. So now let's talk about strategy, guys. Let's talk about strategy. And I'm going to start with Saul Canelo Alvarez. 1, 2, 3 ways I think that he could possibly come up with this victory. I would love to see the Saul Canelo Alvarez of old. You know, it's been rumors and talks about Canelo slowing down. You know, he's been in a lot of fights. He's been matched up very strong in fighting since he was younger than 15 years old, turned pro at 15 years old. You know, he's got a lot of wear and tear. So people are starting to believe that he's slowing down. I don't necessarily think he's slowing down. I just think his styles have changed. One fight in particular that I think we would need to see a throwback performance from Canelo Alvarez, which could possibly surprise Bud and possibly get Bud off of his game and possibly come up with the victory, will be his fight against none other than Danny Jacobs. Saul Canelo fought Danny Jacobs, middleweight division. Danny Jacobs, taller, longer, and also a puncher. Saul Canelo displayed defensive genius that night that we don't get to see as often. Canelo with the moving his head, slipping, sliding, dipping, ducking punches. We don't see that as often from Saul Canelo Alvarez now. Now we basically see the high guard, and he come walk you down and come get you. If Canelo is able to bring that Canelo back, make Bud miss with his rangefinder with the jab, with Bud having the reach, if Saul Canelo can get his head off of that line and let Bud know, you're not getting no jabs, you're not getting nothing, and frustrate Bud to the point that Bud can't get his punches in, that's going to make for a very interesting night, guys. If Bud is not able to land his rangefinder, his jab, whether it's coming from the right hand stance or the southpaw stance, that is going to put a lot of pressure on Bud. The fact that, damn, this guy's moving and I can't even touch him. If Saul Canelo Alvarez could bring that into his repertoire, oh baby. Step 2, another way in which Saul Canelo Alvarez got a lot of flack for this fight. I loved his performance in this fight. The first Triple G fight. A lot of people felt like Canelo lost the first Triple G fight. I 100% totally disagree with that. I believe that was one of the best boxing performances we have ever seen from Saul Canelo Alvarez was Triple G Canelo 1. Canelo was using the ring. He was boxing beautifully. Once again, using that head movement and getting his shots off. In that fight, although Triple G landed, I felt like Canelo landed the more solid, more powerful, more impact punches in their first bout. That is another thing that I think might surprise Bud. If Canelo comes out and he says, okay, everybody thinks you're going to be the boxer. Well, guess what? I'm going to be the boxer tonight. And if Canelo starts moving around the ring, using his jab, using that head movement, getting his punches in and then getting out, showing Bud that you're not the only boxer in here. I know how to box as well. Now, we have not seen Canelo use this style since because of all of the flack that he got for the draw decision that he got. And then in Triple G and Canelo 2, as you see, he was standing right in the pocket with Triple G and taking it to him. And since then, that is the Canelo that we have seen going forward ever since. The third way I feel like Canelo could come out with a victory is Canelo's got to touch Bud. First and foremost, he's got to put that 168-pound power on Bud and see if he can take it. You know, this is a weight class that Bud has never fought at. Sparring isn't fighting. Walk around weight isn't fighting. You know, so that is going to be a telltale sign if Bud is going to be able to take his punch. So one thing that Canelo does very well, he puts that high guard up. He stalks his opponents. He cuts the ring off decent. I'm not going to say he's the best at cutting the ring off because he should have cut it off a lot better against William Skull. But he does cut the ring off. And if he's able to cut the ring off, trap Bud, start hitting him in them arms. Like as we saw, he swole up a guy's arm in the ring. If he can hit them arms and then get that chin with that good hook or even that hook to the body, if he touches Bud and hurts Bud, that could be lights out. And he has to invest in the body. Andre Ward said this best in his breakdown. He has to invest in the body. Both fighters have to invest in the body. But if Canelo is going to, if Bud starts to box and move, he's got to jab to that body. He's got to be able, when he does get an opportunity to get in close, throw that left hook to the body, which he throws very, very, very well. Throw that left hook to the body, then throw it back up top. He's got to be able to touch Bud in the body to slow down Bud's movement. If Bud is moving and decides not to fight, not to exchange, he's going to have to stalk him down, get him, and touch the body, because that's going to pay dividends later on in the fight. Right? Now I'm going to speak on one known weakness of Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez always struggles with boxers, with real athletic boxers that know how to box, move, be defensive minded, counterpunch, get in, get out. Lost almost every round to one of the greatest boxers of all time, TBN himself, Floyd Money Mayweather, by him using that style. Stick, move, in, out, counter. That is a problem for Canelo. A fight that goes overlooked a lot when it comes to Canelo. Iris Landy Lara. That was a fight that I felt like Canelo should not have won. He ended up getting the nod against Lara, but I don't think so. Lara was boxing beautifully against Canelo in a style that a lot of people like to say running. No, this is boxing, baby. This is boxing. Lara, stick, move, slip, counter, in, out. Canelo has a problem with dealing with those kind of fighters. We even could talk about him against William Skull. The fact that William Skull did a lot of moving around the ring, so-called running, and Canelo really didn't have an answer. He couldn't really cut the ring off. He couldn't really get to him. He couldn't really do anything. So that style, and let's not forget Dmitry Bivol. One of the best boxers up there at 175 pounds. And the way he does his thing, jab, very long, rangy, can move. Not the most strongest guy out there, but Dmitry Bivol can box his ass off. This is a problem for Canelo Alvarez. So, with that being said, he's facing one of the best boxers in the sport, guys. Tune in tomorrow. It's going down. Now we're going to shift gears to Terence Bud Crawford. Strategy. One thing that would definitely get Canelo's attention, and this is something that Bud has to do, I believe, he's going to have to get respect. That's one of the first things I believe Bud is going to have to do. Because although I would love to see Canelo box, like I mentioned in one way that I think he can surprise Bud, I don't think Canelo's going to do that. Canelo's going to come out there, he's going to step right to Bud. And what Bud is going to have to do is get his respect. He's going to have to show him, oh yeah, my power carry with me, big dog. It carry with me, big dog. It's two dogs in here, not just one. He has to prove to Canelo that he's not a little man coming up to his weight, that he's just as big as him and he's a big man. There's two lions in here, not just one. So that is one thing I believe Bud is going to have to do from the outset, is get respect. He's going to have to touch him and make him feel him and possibly even hurt Canelo. Straight off the rip. Straight off the rip. Next thing, Bud got to go to the body. Just like I said with Canelo, Bud is going to have to use that jab up and down. He's going to have to suck the wind out of him. That's going to pay dividends for later on in the fight. Sticking that jab to the solar plex. Sticking that jab to the stomach. Sticking that jab up top. When you get in close, getting that left hook, right hook to the body. He's going to have to make an investment in his body work against Canelo. That's going to pay dividends later. That's going to break Canelo down. And then that way he could possibly get a stoppage. Because one thing about Canelo also, when Canelo is in these high fights and he's got boxers that are moving and he has to exchange, he has to do things when it's a good scrap, Canelo tends to fade late in his fights as well. I say round 9, 10, 11, Canelo starts to fade a little bit. So, if Bud is able to invest in that body early on and then catch Canelo during the fading stages, oh my God. Maybe the first time that we see Canelo touch the canvas, we may even see Canelo get stopped. We just don't know. Bud has power. Bud has been on knockout streaks 10 to be exact before it was broken. Bud is punching. Now what we all want to know is did that power carry up to 168 pounds? And Saturday night we are going to see. Another thing that Bud needs to do is use his IQ, his ring generalship. He needs to be able to keep Canelo at bay. He needs to exchange when he wants to exchange. He needs Canelo to play to his beating drum, guys. He needs Canelo to understand that I'm the lead singer. You in the background, my boy. You gonna follow what I do. Set traps, catch Canelo as he's coming in with that high guard, which is gonna leave openings, which leaves Canelo blind in certain spots. Bud might be able to sneak some uppercuts in there on him, rip some uppercuts, might be able to go to that body, might be able to throw that hook around the guard. Bud is going to be able to get his offense off. Believe that. Believe that for sure. Bud gets that offense off, it could be a very long night for Canelo. And one thing's for sure, two things for certain. Bud is one of the greatest finishers in the sport. If he hurts Canelo, if he gets Canelo hurt, he's gonna go finish him. He's gonna go for the finish. Finish him. He's going to definitely try to get him up out of there. That's one thing about Bud. He is one of the greatest finishers in the sport. I'm so excited and cannot wait to see this fight, guys. Weakness for Bud. I don't feel like Bud should be caught laying on the ropes. When Canelo gets his opportunity, because he will have opportunities in spots to put that high guard up and walk to him, stalk to him, walk him down, Bud finds himself against the ropes, and now he's in a vulnerable position where he's catching and he's rolling punches, and Canelo's throwing them big hooks. I don't like that spot placement for Bud. I don't want to see Bud doing a lot of fighting off of the ropes in this fight. That is a dangerous position for Bud to be in, to possibly get caught by who they say is the bigger man, Canelo, and possibly end up being hurt. Because we have seen Bud hurt before. You know, never been down, but he has been hurt. Just as well as Canelo's been hurt, but never been down. And Canelo's chin is granite. But that is a weakness I see for Bud. Do not be caught on the ropes trying to lean on the ropes, catch punches on the ropes, roll punches off the ropes, and then try to get off, and Canelo mess around and swings with you in exchange. That could be devastating for Bud. Don't want to see that. I want to see Bud boxing, moving, and if he's going to exchange, make the exchanges in the middle of the ring where you still can bop, 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 and get out. Bop, 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 and roll and get out. When you on the ropes, you got to try to get your way out of there. You got to move around, duck punches, block punches, parry some punches, and then try to step around. You can still throw and counter, but you leave yourself open to be countered. So I don't want to see Bud on the ropes, guys. Definitely not. My prediction. Fight predictions. Who's going to win this fight? To be honest, guys, I'm going to say this is really a 50-50, 55-45 type of fight. You know, this is one of those fights that really could go either way, right? But in my gut, 100%, Terence Bud Crawford is going to get the victory. But I would not be shocked at all if Canelo was able to beat Bud. Canelo is just that good. Bud is just that good. This fight can go either way. But my pick, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going with Terence Bud Crawford. Possibly by decision, but a stoppage is out there. A stoppage is out there because I believe Canelo's going to not approach this recklessly, but I think he's going to come right at Bud. And coming right at a man that can punch could end up devastating for you, thinking, okay, I'm finna walk in here, see what he got. You know, I'm finna just go get him. And then Bud, boop, open his eyes up like, oh, I think Canelo could possibly get dropped in this fight. I think Bud could possibly get dropped in this fight. I think this might go down as one of the most legendary fights we've had in a long time. This will not be a dud, guys. This will not be a dud. And Bud is not a so-called runner, as people like to say. He is a precise, precision type of boxer. He's gonna stick, he's gonna move, and Bud likes to exchange. That's another weakness that I just have to point on before we get up out of here. Bud, do not get suckered into the exchange. Do not get suckered in and want to just go in there and then just start throwing punches and bunches against Canelo, because Canelo can counter too. And Canelo has power as well. I'm still picking Bud though, all day. I'm still picking Bud though, all day. I definitely believe Bud is going to pull it out tomorrow night, guys. So this is Inside the Square Circle Boxing Podcast, man. We broke it all down, from the resumes to the strategies to this being the biggest fight that could be put on in the sport right now today. This is the biggest fight, and I'm happy it's on Netflix. I'm happy that we are able to get this fight from a fan's point of view. Being a fan first, I love it. Salute to Turkey Al-Sheikh for putting this on for us. And we ready. We are ready. We ready to get down, man. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Hey, so look, this is what I need y'all to do. Comment down below. Engage in the conversation. Let me know who you think is gonna win. Let me know how you feel about my analysis and full fight breakdown. Bring it all to me. Let me know. Let's talk about it. Comment down below and let me know exactly how you feeling about Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Bud Crawford fighting at 168 pounds super middleweight for super middleweight supremacy, for all the belts, everything on the line. Who you got? 2 first ballot Hall of Famers. Who you got? Bud's O may go. Who you got? Let me know. Inside the Square Circle Boxing Podcast. Peace.